This is going to sound like so much hate, and I swear it's not. Welcome back to part 2 of the Warner Brothers podcast, day after Christmas edition, Boxing Day, if you celebrate that, if you're outside of the U.S.
Shout out to Digest Media. They're actually from Canada. So guys, Josh, Ben, they actually are celebrating Boxing Day. So shout out Josh, Ben,
Shout
Nick, all
to
the
Canada.
others.
Shout to Canada. Listen, we talked NBA in part 1. We've got 2 NFL games tomorrow. For Saturday, we got the full Sunday slate. Maybe a lesser Sunday slate because we had 3 games yesterday. But still a Sunday slate nonetheless. Let's talk about yesterday's games. That again, if you heard part 1, I watched a total of 2 minutes out of 3 games. Keenan, you watched a bit more than me.
Yeah.
I think really the only game of consequence outside of the Broncos winning late would be the Lions and Vikings. That's the only one I'm really interested in talking about. You watched it more than me.
Oh.
What's your take?
I'm going to save that one for last because that's the game that I actually have a little bit more to talk about than anything.
Okay.
Dallas, Washington was a fine opener. If we had, like, on the NBA side, if that was the 12 o'clock NBA game and we led into, like, it was a crescendo into something big, would be a good start to the day. It was a 30-23 game, big play to Dak to Turpin. Dak was actually off kind of all game. Like, Dak could have easily had 4. They could have easily put up 45. He was missing CD, either underthrowing him, a little behind him. Like, him and CD could have had $150 on the day. Just they seemed a little bit off, and Dak seemed a little off. But overall, not a game that really matters because of the fact that Dallas is out, Washington is out. Washington's really just for kind of their picks at this moment, so they don't really mind losing at this point. They get a better pick. And then Dallas is just trying to build a little bit of winning culture going into next season, trying to win with this core group. I know you didn't really watch the game. You didn't really miss much.
Didn't see a second of this game.
Fine. Denver and Kansas City. I didn't really watch any of this game because, more importantly, the Stranger Things was on. So then 3 episodes were there. But what I did see of the game, a 20-13 win late for Denver. Don't love it. Because I understand it's a divisional matchup, so like division matchups are always a little bit closer. But again, Chris Oladokun starting. I don't love the fact that you're in a barn burner, quote unquote, not really a barn burner at all, but a very close, tight game with Denver. It was Kansas City, Denver, but you got the win. That's really all that matters. Next week is going to matter a lot for you. You win, you get the 1 seed, and you lock up the division. If the Chargers do win, we'll give our thoughts on what the Chargers are going to do here in a moment. But overall, that game, fine. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that game.
I mean, it doesn't bother me. That's a close game. We see that every year.
I don't love it, but I don't hate it. It's whatever.
We see that with when the Chiefs were in their hay, which we can say now. I mean, we saw that with the Raiders every year. They had what was their backup's name last year? I want to say
Minshew. No, Aiden O'Connell.
Aiden O'Connell. AOC. That's right. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
We've seen him go toe to toe with Mahomes. We've seen it. Patriots with Miami Dolphins. Like, no matter what the record was, they give him problems. So that doesn't really bother me.
It bothered me more if it wasn't a division matchup.
And especially because they got the Chargers next week. So, like, they're just doing what they can to get through this game. And then you're playing essentially a playoff game in week 18 next week for the division, like literally for the division if the Chargers win this game. So
I hope they do.
I'm not too worried about that because, I mean, I think we all know Broncos are winning that game. And like the game we're going to talk about, I think we all at least expected the Lions to do enough to win their game. And they seemingly got manhandled. Again, I didn't see a second of this game, but before we get to it, I don't know if you saw this. I saw this on Twitter. The halftime show, Snoop, it was K-pop Demon Hunters. It was someone else, and then Andrea Bocelli, the famous Italian singer. That was one of the best halftime shows I've ever seen. Like, that was as good as any Super Bowl halftime show I've ever seen. It was legitimately an incredible performance.
I didn't see
they
it. They
killed
actually.
it. Take time to watch it, Keenan. They actually killed it. It was an amazing performance. And as I say that, like the people who were in it, Snoop Dogg, Andrea Bocelli, who's like a opera singer, and then and K-pop Demon Hunters, like none of those make sense. It all fit together. Like they all killed it. Like
Hmm.
genuinely worth your time to watch it. I feel like there's one other performer that I'm missing here. I'll look it up. Um, but they killed it. That was I think that was during the Lions Vikings game.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it, but I didn't actually watch it.
Oh,
I
and
saw
Lainey
like
Wilson. Lainey Wilson was in there too. My bad. I
shout out
left her
Laney,
out of there. So
shout out Laney Wilson.
yes, they killed it. They really killed it. So
Um, but yeah, so there was that. Detroit, Minnesota was really one of the annual Jared Goff 5 turnover game. So he's got a game a year where he just can't hold on to the ball.
his second game in this case.
Mm-hmm. Just makes bad decisions with it. You're gonna get 1 to 2 Jared Goff games a year where this happens. It just happened now. Season was over. I didn't think the Packers were going to even the Packers lost this week without Jordan Love. I thought they were going to win next week. So obviously, you never know. It's the NFL. You never know what could
No,
happen. Obviously, this
the
Vikings team could have beat them
the
next
Vikings
week,
can
and
beat the Lions. They can definitely beat
they
the
could have beat the
Packers.
Packers, especially if there's no Jordan Love next week. I think there will be, but overall, kind of just the thing I want to ask you about a little bit with this Lions thing is less about this season because I think that this season obviously had kind of, to me, been ish over. Even it was a little weird. Obviously, they were like really needing a lot in a sense, but overall, do you think this team, as presently constructed, needs to do anything different to get back to their ultimate goal, which is obviously getting to a Super Bowl and ultimately winning one? Like, do you think they need to do a lot different, or do you think again just another unlucky-ish season with some injuries and then they played a little bit down to par?
Yeah, I mean they were statistically the most beat up team in the league. They had the most players on IR. My thing would be get an OC. That way, Dan Campbell is not calling the plays. Let him
Mm-hmm.
really focus on being the head coach. Draft well. You know, replace around the edges. Replenish that defense, especially since you got both safeties injured, and you're probably good to go. I mean, they're going to be playing a third place schedule next year.
Mm-hmm.
That alone's already going to give you an advantage. We knew this. We knew this season would either be okay if they're not going to win the division, then they're going to be a fringe playoff team. Not because they're bad, but because they had such a tough schedule, and that division's tough anyway, right?
Yeah.
Um, so we knew it would be tougher. I think we all had them at 10 wins. Maybe someone had them a little higher, but I think we all
I'm
had them at
11, and I had them 11-6 as like the 6th seed in the playoffs was where I had them at.
yeah, yeah. So they've got it to win. I mean, we've given them all the props in the world. I've probably given them too many props, saying how they carry themselves like a championship team, having not won a championship yet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, Goff's a little bit older, but he's still, one of the better quarterbacks in the league. You've got the most explosive player in the league in Jameer Gibbs. You've got Amon St. Brown. You got Jameson Williams. You got Aiden Hutchinson. Get another pass rusher to pair with Aiden Hutchinson. They lost. Sewell's going to be out for a long time, right? That looked like not only a season-ending injury, but could keep him out possibly in the
Yeah.
next year. Um, so whatever happens with that offensive line, I know they tried bringing back their center this year. Maybe he comes back next year. I don't know. But in general, I mean, they've got all the talent in the world. That's not just going to fall off, right? Thing
Yeah.
is, JJ McCarthy and the Vikings are probably going to be better next year. The Bears are going to have a ton of confidence no matter what happens in the playoffs coming off of this season. The Packers will be the Packers. They're going to have Micah Parsons back at the least, right? They're always going to be competitive. So
Mm-hmm.
they just got to be ready for the fight, which I think they were. Thing is, in their losses this year, especially against the Vikings, they seem to just get out physicaled, which is, usually it's Detroit dominating at the line of scrimmage. That wasn't the case this year in many of their losses. So if they can get back to being that physical team, maybe get a little more out of Monty, get him a little
Mm-hmm.
more pop so it's not so Jameer Gibbs dependent. But I mean, they've got, when that offensive line's healthy, you've got the receivers, you got the backfield, you just got to put it all together. And I think that's where an OC comes in. Then obviously keep getting that defense healthy, draft. And again, a third place schedule, that alone will help you. I don't know what divisions they'll be playing next year, obviously, but I think it's already set up, especially if Sewell can be back sometime early in the season. It's already set up for you guys to have a good season, possibly. So we'll see because they've got all the talent in the world.
I would agree. I think that they need clarity offensively, so getting an offensive coordinator would be definitely something to get. And then with Sewell, I think you might need to give another call to Frank Ragnon. Hopefully this time the hamstring's okay. But I would give another call because that the offensive line, and you're right, they did get out physicaled in games, and that was the thing that you never saw. It was always the Lions are such a physical team. Even when they lost, they would the next week that team would typically lose because of how physical of a game they just played against the Detroit Lions. This year, it's actually been the Broncos the way they've been playing. I think that stat kind of reigns supreme for them. But overall, I would agree with you. I think that the Detroit Lions need to make sure they shore up the offensive line a little bit more. They need to get to a point where offensively there's consistency, and then defensively just stay healthy, draft a couple other young guys, because you do have players like Brian Branch, you have Kirby Joseph, you've got Aiden Hutchinson, you've got players, you've got pieces on that roster. And then when you're going to be playing a lesser schedule, I think they can get it done. There's a reason why we all like the Packers this year. We're like, okay, this team's kind of returning everybody, and they're playing a third place schedule this year with the Vikings and the Lions being ahead of them last year. It was like, okay, we kind of like that. That's a really good team with a lighter schedule. That's really what happens in the NFL. And when you get to going to have a really good team with a lighter schedule, it's why the Chiefs might be a little, depending. I know they're farther away than the Lions, but like if the Chiefs have a really good offseason, they could be dangerous because third place schedule for a team with Mahomes coming back is
honestly, a healthy Mahomes with a third place schedule already gives you a leg up. Like that
already gives you
tough anyway, but
yeah, gives you. I mean, the division's tough, but you're going to get a leg. It's going to be difficult. So,
and I don't know what the Lions cap situation is, but I mean, you know how it is in the NFL. You can stumble into great players on a cheap contract, honestly. So, I mean, they're in prime position to replenish. Hopefully, Sewell gets healthy.
Mm-hmm. I think they'll be just fine. But that was really the point that I wanted to talk about there. And otherwise, the Viking side of things, just to mention them real quick, I think it's interesting that with a quarterback, they would be again probably a playoff team, right?
Had they kept Sammy, Sam Darnold.
If they just kept Sam Darnold, like I could say confidently right now, Sam Darnold's 2 wins. With how bad their quarterback play has been this year, 2 wins, you probably could be like, oh man, Sam's there. We probably get it. They're 8-8 right now. So, like,
that's
also, I just want to actually hold on. I forgot. If the Lions lose next week and the Vikings win, or even both teams win, the Lions have a 4th place schedule, which actually honestly wouldn't at this point. What does it hurt losing next week? I'm not saying you go out there and just tank.
No, but like, I know what you mean.
Like, what is her losing her? You're going to get a better pick, and you're going to get a 4th place schedule instead of a 3rd place schedule. That actually could mean a lot for next season.
Yeah,
like, I mean,
why not sit Goff next year, or excuse me, next week? Sit him. What would be the
There's
problem?
no need to win next week against the Bears, and the Bears need the game. Like, the Bears, regardless, are going to be fighting for seeding, and if the Bears win this week, they could be in play for the 1 seed next week. So, like, they're going to be playing regardless. I mean, Dan Campbell's has too much pride for that, but, like, I would just say, hey, guys, like, 4th place schedule next year, better pick in the draft, let's pack it up, go home. Go to Cancun or go to wherever you Bora Bora early, or do whatever you want. Because there's what does winning next week do? Like, the only thing it does is, hey, Ben Johnson's never beat us. That's the only thing that next week does for them. So, anyways,
I agree.
That was that's all that I have. The other games really didn't matter. Vikings. Cool quarterback, but even still, that just shows how good this roster is. That they're good enough to be 8-8 with the abysmal quarterback play that they've had this year.
And you know what?
For
JJ has looked better. JJ McCarthy, in his starts since his, I guess, few injuries here.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the problem here. He's gotten injured a couple times. He's already proven to be injury prone. So that would be your problem here. Maybe they go get a vet to back him up. I mean, they kind of did have one in Carson Wentz. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see who they get as a backup. Maybe, Like I think you mentioned, like if Mac Jones were to end up there, like
No,
that's a
that's what
pretty notable
I
spot.
would get. I would get a guy like Mac Jones, Jacoby Brissett, someone like that who play
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, play JJ McCarthy next year, and or like at least have a competition. If he can't beat him out in preseason, that should tell you enough. JJ McCarthy has had some injury problems throughout his history in the NFL so far. Get another guy in there to where you don't take actually a step back. You might even take a little step forward. I mean, Mac Jones is tough because you'd have to trade for him, but like the 49ers are happy they got Mac Jones. Like, I promise you that. Like, a bad quarterback, they would not be in the position they're in right now. The Lions would still be in fighting for a playoff spot. So, the 49ers must be happy. But let's get to these picks starting on Saturday, and then we'll kind of go through the rest of them. We can run through some of them because there are a couple games that don't matter.
Yeah, let's
But
do Saturday and let's do the
yeah.
trash ass games first.
Yeah, okay. We got Saturday. We've got Houston heading to the Chargers. The Chargers are 1.5-point favorites in this game. Kyle, what do you got?
So this is the better game, and this is the early game, and not the primetime game.
Yeah.
Um, mm. Where is this game?
LA.
This is in LA. I think Houston's a better team. The Chargers continue to win, even though they're like banged up to all hell. But like Harbaugh just has his guys so prepared. Herbert just keeps on playing well, just keeps on carrying this team. Um, Again, I think he should at least get some sort of MVP votes. He's not an MVP, but like he is as valuable to his team as anybody, especially playing through this fracture. I'm going to go with Houston, though. I think the Chargers are due for a loss. I'm going to go 24-21 field goal win, Houston Texans. I think it's going to be a great physical game.
I've actually got it pretty similar, but I actually have the opposite way. I have the Chargers 23-20. I think both defenses have been playing high-level football. The Chargers haven't allowed anyone over 20 over the last 4 weeks. And so I think it's going to be a good defensive game. And when it comes down to it, I do trust Justin Herbert a little bit more than CJ Stroud. I think it's going to come down to those kind of plays, and Herbert's going to get it done.
Yeah, I just don't think that offensive line can handle the Houston defensive line.
Fair. And that could be one of those games. I think it could look something like Philly Chargers, and that one, Philly, obviously, the Chargers really turned Philly over, but Philly had a lot of opportunities to win that game. So it could be something like that. And if CJ doesn't turn the ball over,
because Herbert's probably a little better quarterback than CJ at this point, like as far as just ability. But if we're talking units, if we're talking better teams, I don't know. I have a hard time seeing that Chargers offensive line competing with that defensive line of Houston.
Fair. No, that's very fair. That's very fair. I think the best unit on the field is going to be the Texans defense, but I think the second best unit is going to be the Chargers defense. So I think it's going to be which offense can be better against the defense, and we'll see what happens. We got the night game, which would be really good if we had a healthy Lamar and a healthy Jordan Love, but we don't.
If we had any starting quarterback.
so we've got Snoop Huntley versus Malik Willis.
And this is weirdly going to be a good game, regardless. That's the weird part about it.
It went from being a great game to a good game.
Exactly. Yeah. I wish this was the 4:30 slot, and then Houston Chargers was the 8:30 game. But
Green Bay favored by 3.5. By the way,
that's kind of an insane line to me, to be honest with you. This is in Green Bay as well.
Yeah,
that's an insane line to me. I'm gonna go with the Ravens, not necessarily because I think they're better than Green Bay or anything. More so that it'll keep us in line for chaos in Week 18, so long as the Steelers lose on Sunday. So Ravens keep their playoff hopes alive. Packers stumble a little bit with Malik Willis, and honestly, I like Huntley a little better than Malik Willis when it comes to backups, even though Malik plays, for whatever reason, pretty damn well for Green Bay. 2017, Baltimore.
21-19 Green Bay. I just think them being at home changes that. If this was on the road, I might say the Ravens, but I just think Green Bay at home this time of year going to be difficult, and LaFleur's done a really good job of scheming things up for Malik Willis.
Let's see if John Harbaugh can actually give it to his Hall of Fame running back. If
he does, we'll see. Then... We'll see. All right, so we'll talk bad games to good games. New Orleans Saints heading to Tennessee. We got Tennessee 2.5-point underdogs in this one.
Give me New Orleans. Give me New Orleans.
Yeah.
21-14 touchdown game.
I actually think that this is going to be a weirdly like high scoring-ish game. I think the Titans have been playing a little bit better offensively. Cam Moore has been playing a little bit better offensively, and the Saints, Tyler Shuck, best rookie quarterback. Crazy enough, 27-24 Saints. Next, we've got. It's not a bad, like two bad teams, but I think it's just not going to matter. We got the Patriots seeing the Jets, 13.5-point underdogs.
31-13 Pats.
Yep, thank you. 31-13 Patriots. I've got this 35-11 Patriots. I don't.
Get out of here.
We don't lose.
Get out of here,
Jets.
Jets.
We don't lose to the Jets. Next, we'll go Tampa versus Miami. Miami is a 5.5-point underdog. Tampa needs this game. They lose this game. I know actually they can lose this game as long as the Panthers don't win, but they need this game regardless. Got Quinn Ewers at the helm.
This should be a Buccaneers blowout, but I'm going to say, given how they looked, they're going to skim by 23-17 in this Florida Bowl.
I think this is just going to be one of those weird games where we turn on, we're like, why are the Dolphins this close this late? And Tampa Bay, I almost want to pick them to lose this game, but I'm going to pick them 24-22 and just one of those weird ones where you're like, why is Tampa this close to Miami?
At the gun? They get a field goal at the gun?
No, they're going to get a defensive stop. So Baker's going to drive them down for a field goal to put them up 2, and then it's going to be like Quinn Ewers needing to drive the team down, and it's just not going to happen. Shout out Texas, but it's not going to happen. Fun game. Arizona versus Cincinnati. You got Cincinnati 7-point underdog. 7-point favorites. My bad. I don't know why I said underdog. 7-point favorites in this game at home.
30-17 Cincy.
I think this game is going to be like 38-30 Cincinnati, but I think it's going to be a lot of score. Like Cincinnati's going to get up like about 3 scores, and then Arizona's going to do what they always do, and Jacoby Brissett's just going to chuck the ball around and going to throw it to people, and going to be some late touchdowns to make this a little closer than it needs to be. Next, we got Pittsburgh heading to Cleveland. Cleveland is 3-point underdogs in this.
Oh, I got to give us time out here. Look, there's one game you're blatantly missing here for this. Shithole of if we're talking about the shit spots, shit games. There's one in particular that's like all time great.
Did I not write it down?
I think we got Raiders Giants on Sunday, don't we?
Oh my gosh, I didn't even write it down. I forgot. My bad. That would have been the one I started with.
This game. This is like the shit of all shit games.
I would have led with that one. Yeah, I didn't even write it down. My bad.
That tells you something. The Raiders even put Brock Bowers on IR specifically for this game.
Oh my gosh. So we've got the Giants heading to the Raiders. The Raiders are 1.5-point underdogs in this game.
Pete Carroll's not losing this game. They should lose this game, but Pete Carroll's not going to know any different. He was coaching the last game like it was a playoff game. So, what's a stupid result? Let's say 38-17 Raiders. Like, it's just going to be a stupid game that they shouldn't win, and they'll be instructed to lose, but they're going to go out and win
12-11 Raiders.
That's right. These are usually the games we reserve like the worst final scores for.
Yeah, no, there's no reason. Jackson Dart had a really good stat line last week. He played the whole game, threw for 33 yards. That's all you need to know. He had like 7 first half yards passing. It was really cool.
Chiefs and Titans really tried last week. They were 3-2 for a little bit.
You know, they tried to. If we could have one somehow, like if they could have 1 point,
we will. Well, one day we're gonna get like a 5-2 or a 3-2, 3-0.
If we got a 5-4 game with 2 safeties, I'd cry. I would cry.
3 safeties total.
Just a 5-4
or a 4-4 tie. I would love a 4-4 tie.
A 4-4 tie.
That's got to be a scoregami. That has to be a scoregami.
It'd be the greatest game of all time. 4-4
Give me that ugly slop of a game, please.
It would be between teams like this, but
Okay, when we
sorry,
did, by the way, when
I
we
didn't
did
write it
gifts
down.
the other
Yeah.
day, we're asking for like, I was originally gonna go with what I want for the NFL postseason, and
Mm.
maybe I'm stepping on a segment I was gonna do later, but I want one shootout in the postseason, and I want one bona fide jail ball, like 6-3 game. I want one, just give me
We
one. Give me
we
one
give us Denver and give us Houston, and that can happen because
it
those
could.
two defenses could make it to where there's 150 total yards combined. Especially if it's in the Mile High in like snowy bad weather, it's just sloppy. We could get that, honestly, we could get that first round and we could get a 6-3. I would love it.
Six to
I
five
would
even.
I would love it. So next, now we'll go back to Pittsburgh going to Cleveland. Cleveland are 3-point underdogs, and this game could matter or could not matter depending on how the Ravens play. So we'll see. We'll know going into Sunday if this game actually matters to Pittsburgh or not.
I'm gonna go 17-16 Cleveland just to keep the Baltimore playoff hopes alive and to give us something for Week 18 for the AFC North. So 17-16 Cleveland.
That'd
But that
be
being said, like Rogers all of a sudden, like he was sublime on third down against the Lions. Speaking of the Lions last week, like he was playing his normal average football, like for the majority of the game, especially on first and second down. But on third down, he was A-Rod. Like he was Aaron Rodgers from Green
mm,
Bay that we know and love. Like he was sublime on third down. So he's clearly dialed up to not above average, but maybe above average when you need it, right? Average on first and second down, but when it's third down or when it's gut check time and you need a throw, he seems to be dialing it up and sticking in the pocket a little bit more. So whatever that
so
means.
I think Pittsburgh's going to win this game because I think this is the last regular season game Rodgers is playing this season. And because I think he's just going to sit next week. And I think this game matters a lot to the Steelers because if you get a bye, being locked into the 4 seed, you're able to kind
True.
of get that bye where you can rest and get a lot of these older players that they have on their team some rest. And then going into that game, you guys are fully healthy, playing maybe a Chargers team or a Buffalo team or Houston or whatever team it is that you're playing in that last in the first round, you get a better chance. So I think they're going to take this with a lot of seriousness. Got it 23-15. I think it's going to be a game where Rodgers knows we just don't turn the ball over, make good plays on third down, and we can get out of this game with a win. And I think he's going to play a really surgical game in that sense. Really good game manager game. Next, we've got Seattle going to Carolina.
It's a good one.
Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, we'll do that. And then I missed one that it's not going to be that great to me, but could
Let's
also have
let's
been.
let's do that one. Let's do the not so great.
The Rams heading to Atlanta, 8.5-point underdogs. The Atlanta Falcons are. This could only be interesting if Kirk Cousins turns back the clock against a team that's not the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Let's say
And
25-14 Rams.
so I think this is going to be a 31-21 win for the Rams. And I think this might be the Matt Stafford MVP case game. And I think it's going to be Drake May is going to play really well against the Jets. He's going to be like, wait,
I
why are the
thought the
odds
last game
switch?
was the Matt Stafford MVP case.
So, but I thought the Rams are going to win, but they didn't win. So I think that changed it a little bit. And he did everything else I asked. I thought he was going to do. But so but I mean more so putting it to bed because I thought it was going to be put to bed. But I think with the loss, it kind of keeps it alive a little bit.
I think there's too much in the air these last 2 weeks for it to be put to. I think it's going to come down to Week 18, the
And it
MVP
could.
race
We'll have to. Well, I mean, I hope Drake May comes out and snatches it.
between
I'd love it.
Matt and Drake and Josh. Pun completely intended. I think we're gonna
I
have
never
an
thought
MVP race.
that it'd be so simple, but all right. Now we'll go Seattle, Carolina. Carolina 7.5-point underdogs.
Kind of love this game. 7 points feels like too much on the road, um, especially against Carolina, who's weirdly a good home team this year.
Mm-hmm.
Think this is gonna be on the uglier side. I think Seattle does win, but I think Carolina puts up a good fight. Think they kind of push Seattle to the brink, honestly. Uh, The scores that comes from let's say 24-22 Seahawks.
So I have this 30-25 Carolina. I think that the Carolina Panthers get a W here, make things really interesting, and just continue to play well against good teams, especially at home, which I don't think that they're going to do, like, go to the Super Bowl or anything, but they could just make it interesting for a team in round one if they get in, just because they kind of know exactly what they are. They have a good home field advantage, and if they get I mean, I don't think they'll beat the Rams again, but hey, they beat the Rams once already at home. They could
They've
just
got
be
a
like, hey,
resume. They've got a
they've
resume.
got it. They've beat the Packers. They beat the Rams. If they do this, they beat the Seahawks. Like, could
They're
be
gonna be
interesting.
prepared. They're gonna at one point or another, even if Seattle pulls away in this game, I think it's gonna be competitive for a
Yeah.
large part of this game at the least.
And the offense in Seattle has been good, but it hasn't been great over the last few weeks. Like, they had a great stretch towards the end, but a punt return touchdown, kind of a run from Shaheed really got them into position. And then against the Vikings, they weren't really great. Against a couple other teams, they haven't been great. So could be a game, an interesting spot. Jacksonville heading to Indy. We've got Indy is 5.5-point underdogs in this game. This game's tough for me.
You know what? I'm upset because Rivers looks really good, and he's obviously like not going to come back next season. But I hope he doesn't shut the door on because this will happen next year where someone's going to get injured and lose a starter. I hope he's kind of like, hey, just keep me on retainer, NFL. Like if someone gets hurt, because he was kind of dealing last
Yeah.
week. He
I'm
played
so
okay at Seattle.
Why did Brady have to do the whole thing with the Raiders? Are you kidding me? Like, he would be
He would have came
primed.
back. He
easily would have came back. Are you kidding
You can
me?
tell deep down the competitor in Tom Brady right now is like pissed off that he's part owner or minority owner of the Raiders right now. He would love to be in the position that
He did that. He definitely did that on purpose. So, like, he didn't come back. It
he
was
like
like
gave
Giselle.
himself.
I will do this so legally I can't come back and play. Maybe you stay with me.
That
Or
means the
something like that.
Raiders. That means the Raiders got a friggin'. Well, she just got married, actually. I think,
Well, yeah, no,
engaged
I
or
meant
something.
before, and then it just
But
didn't work out. That's what I thought. But yeah,
maybe the Raiders got to get competitive, and he's got to do the Michael Jordan and be like, all right, yeah, I'm in the Wizards front office, but I'm coming back. Like maybe the Raiders just got to get competitive, and then they lose their starting quarterback, and then we get 50-year-old Tom Brady coming to play for the Las Vegas Raiders. At least you'd have good weather. But again, shouts to Philip Rivers because man, he looks good even at his advanced age, even for not having any time really to prepare for this. Like he looks really good. So this is in Indy. This is Jacksonville going to Indy. Jacksonville now live for the 1 seed. Jacksonville just like quietly actually looking like a competitor as much as I still can't believe it. The old Jacksonville that we know and love would absolutely lose this game. But I think Keenan, they're a real team. I think Brandon Petty's Jacksonville Jaguars are actually a real formidable, like an NFL team that what have they won 6 straight now?
yeah.
Like before it would like 3 would be impressive for the Jags, and like you could book that 4th game was going to be something. And they might just win 7 straight going into week 18. Say 31-28 Jags. Shootout with old Philip Rivers.
28-24 Jags, and here is the reason why. If they're a real team, they win this game. If they're a fake team, they lose this game. And another team we're going to talk about here in a moment too, I need to start taking them with more realness.
I don't even think they're fake. I don't even necessarily think they're fake if they lose this game because the Colts.
Well, no, not like fake, but like this is a game where if you're not the if you're not a fake team, but like you're not the Jags, because like the Jags would lose this game, and the Jags would lose this game in pretty convincing fashion. It'd be one of those like 27-13. Oh, we believed in the Jags, and that happened. But I'm gonna treat them like a real team. I think this will be a close game, 28-24 Jags, because they're a real team. I think they'll win it. And then we'll go with the Sunday night game before we'll go with America's game of the week. It's Chicago going to San Francisco. San Francisco are 3-point favorites in this one.
Oh, we're not ending with this game. That's interesting. Uh,
No, going with the other one.
what's the other game? I'm actually like I'm blanking.
Philly versus Buffalo.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Who's the Monday night game?
That was the Rams.
Okay,
Rams
wow.
Rams are Monday night.
Guess
The
I'll be skipping Monday night straight up.
That's why
Um,
I figured we'd end with Allen versus Jalen Hurts.
Fair enough. Fair enough. This is my favorite game of the week, Bears and Niners. This is
Mm-hmm.
in San Francisco, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
These are two teams that are like quintessential sleepers right now. Niners are somehow live for the 1 seed,
Yep.
which I don't think we
Niners
would have
went out,
believed a
they get
month
the
ago.
1 seed. Seahawks went out, they get the 1 seed. The Bears went out, they get the 1 seed. If all of those teams that I just mentioned lose once and the Rams went out, they get the 1 seed. Really interesting.
This will tell us a lot because you can move the ball pretty easily on San Francisco. And
Mm-hmm.
if they can cause turnovers against a team like the Bears, who have a ton of offensive talent and have
Yeah.
been, as we've seen, well coached on offense, as you pointed
Mm-hmm.
out many times, Caleb's not turned the ball over. The run game's real. So I don't expect them to stop the run game at all. But one thing I do love about this Niners team compared to other teams that we've seen who've maybe been banged up on defense, they still bring a lot of energy. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
they'll give up yards, but they play with a lot of energy and passion compared to other teams who, again, have lost defensive talent. So if they could cause turnovers in this game, very intrigued by that. I'm going with the Niners, though. I do think they're the more, I mean, just them at home. And if they go for it the way they did against Indy, like if they're going to turn themselves into we're just going to outscore you, which I think that's what they're going to try to do here. Like it seems like they're ramping up their team in that sort of fashion. Um, Let me give you 34-24, 10-point win
Ooh.
over the Bears at home. I think this Niners team is I think they like where they're at. Not being talked about. We're sleeping on their defense a little bit and reasonably so. But that offense, I mean, they put on a show. I talked about Phillip Rivers, but that Niners offense was pretty lights out. And I see more
Mm-hmm.
of the same against this Bears defense, and I see more of the same going into the playoffs.
I actually got it the opposite way. And I know a lot of these ones in the big games we have the opposite way, not because of I'm trying to go zing to your or trying to zigzag it, but I think that Chicago can run the ball and they're going to be able to run the ball on San Francisco and they're going to control the clock and control the game because I do agree with you. I think the higher this game is scored, the more likely it is for San Francisco to win because that means Brock Purdy's rolling, means Kyle Shanahan is what Brock Purdy said last week. He's in his bag and he's going. And not that Ben Johnson doesn't have that, but right now I trust Brock Purdy in a shootout more than I trust Caleb Williams in a shootout at this point in time because that's not the game that the Bears want to play as of this moment.
Yeah.
So
There's a chance we get a 41-38 game out of
yeah,
this.
no, not
There's a
that
run.
not that the Bears can't play in a shootout because I do think when Caleb gets rolling, he's kind of a quarterback. Like when he gets hot, he can like things just start really rolling for him too. But the lower the scoring game, I actually trust the Bears a little bit more in this game just because I think that means they're controlling the ball, controlling the clock, controlling the game, and I think that's what they're going to be able to do. I've got a 26-22. I still think that they're going to put up points, but I think a little lower scoring than you have it there. 26-22 Bears. And then in America's game of the week, we've got the Philadelphia Eagles heading to Buffalo to take on the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are 1.5-point favorites in this game. Kyle, what are your thoughts?
For some reason, it feels like we haven't seen the Eagles in like 3 weeks. I don't know what it is, but
Well,
I feel
yeah,
like I
because
haven't.
like last week they played on Friday, or no, like I mean, like they played on Friday, like they played on Black Friday, and then they played against the Commanders, and then they played against the Raiders, and then they played against the Commanders again. So like no one cared about either one of those Commanders games really, and then the Raiders game was sandwiched in. They won 31-0. So like since the Black Friday game against the Bears, we haven't cared to watch it. So
And then they got the Giants, must be in week 18.
Yeah, yes,
Must be. Must be.
yes.
I love
So,
the Bills in this game. Absolutely
ooh,
love the Bills in this game. This is at home too. Bills at home.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if Philly can keep up with that offense. Now, every time I say that, all of a sudden Jalen Hurts will come out and have a pretty high scoring game, namely that Rams game early on the season where he matched my 17 points down theory. Um, but the Bills are too tough at home. I don't love the way this Eagles offense has been playing, even though Hurts' stats look pretty decent. It's been pretty hard for them to get all three of Hurts, AJ, and Saquon playing at a high level, seemingly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I mean, again, it means something for Philly because I mean, what's their seeding right now? They're sitting at the
They
3,
can either be the 2 seed or the 3 seed. Like that's really it.
and
There's
that
nothing else
probably
for
doesn't
them.
mean anything to them. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna get a home game regardless.
They're getting
Um,
a home game regardless, and it's
they're not afraid of
like
home court.
it's the difference between because like you don't know who's going to be what because as the 2 you play the 7, as the 3 you play the 6, so you're either playing a mixture of the Packers, the 49ers, the Seahawks, the Bears, the Rams. Like you any of those teams you play. Like there's no like we win this game, we avoid this. The only
Yeah.
team you'd want to try to fight for would be that NFC South team, and they obviously can't do that because they're both division winners. So
Right, right. I think we've seen in these type of games this year where the Bills defense rises to the occasion. We saw that against New England a couple weeks ago. We saw it against KC earlier in the year when we thought KC was a contender. Um, so I think the Bills defense causes a turnover or two here. I think the Bills win 31-24. I think we get a great game.
so I had a score, and then after thinking about what I was thinking about this, I actually have this game a little different. I have it Philly 23-21, and I think it's because both teams are just going to run the ball a lot. Because both teams' weaknesses are the run defense, and I just think this game's actually going to be one of those games that feels a lot quicker than like a regular game would be. I think that with Saquon, 110 yards average over his last 3 games, I think we're going to get a good Saquon game. We're going to get a good James Cook game. And then Jalen Hurts is not going to turn the ball over and do just enough. Could the Bills win this game? Of course. Could Josh Allen do a lot in this game? Of course. Like this the Bills are obviously live to win any game that they ever play because Josh Allen is really just that good. But I do think that when it comes down to it, I trust Philly's defense getting a stop more than I trust the Bills' defense getting a stop. Even though you could argue the other way because you could say, well, do you trust Josh Allen to get a bucket before Jalen Hurts? So, like, I get both sides of that. But I do trust Philly's defense to get a stop in this situation. I got a 23-21 Philly in a weird, oddly low scoring game because it's going to be a lot of ball control.
Yeah, you know what? I don't see it that way just because a couple reasons. Once again, we've seen the Bills defense, including the run defense, step it up. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Even in that New England game, I think outside of that big Travion run in that game, they were kind of containing Ramondre and Travion a little bit. That Chiefs game again. There's one other game I'm forgetting that they had kind of a marquee matchup and they kind of shut down the run. I'm not thinking of it right now, but either way, I think their defense has rose to the occasion. They turned Joe Burrow over in that game after Thanksgiving, his second start. They got 2 back-to-back interceptions off him, pick six. Like they can do that to Burrow. They can definitely do that to Jalen Hurts.
Oh yeah,
Um, and then you say you trust Philly to get a stop. I just I don't know. I don't see many teams stopping this Bills offense when they're rolling.
fair.
And it's been a lot of Josh Allen unleashed. You know what I mean? It's more Josh Allen and then James Cook. Whereas maybe early on in the season it was more James Cook and then building around that. Where now
Mm-hmm.
it's just like Josh Allen roam free, you run, do your best Cam Newton / Josh Allen impression, and we're gonna go off that. And that's extremely tough to beat. And then your defense allows them to be a little more opportunistic. And
Yeah.
then yeah, yeah, and then Philly, like you said, they really haven't played games of talent, games of consequence, probably since that Dallas game on
Mm-hmm.
wasn't Thanksgiving. No, that was the week before Thanksgiving, I believe. The Sunday before Thanksgiving. So it's been over a month since Philly's played a real talented offense.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't. Obviously, we have it a little different, but I could also see yours too because the Bills are a very good offense. If Josh Allen gets rolling, it's probably more likely yours. But if it's one of those more weird, odd games, we can kind of get them hemmed up a little bit more. But we'll see. All right, that was the NFL slate. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention, talk about in this slate at all?
No, because of the Thanksgiving games, we really don't have that great of a Sunday, which is kinda good for, I guess, viewing options. You can kind of focus in
Yeah.
on the games you wanna focus in on. It's
Yeah.
always like, specifically weeks 16, 17, and 18 are always weird because you have so many games that end up not mattering. So, they
We've
always end
got
up kinda dying out. The
we've
sweet
got
spot of the NFL season really is, like, the first 14 to 15 weeks, because weeks once the
yeah.
Saturday games kick in, like, you just never really know.
Right, and pretty much goes from like mid-season to Thanksgiving's like your sweet spot for it. And then you have like for total NFL, it's more so just marquee matchups throughout the week. Like this week, we've got Houston Chargers, Philly, Buffalo, Chicago, San Francisco are your three major matchups, and then you've got like your secondary ones, which would be Seattle, Carolina, Jacksonville, and Indy. I think is an interesting one too.
Mhm.
And so like, and then from there you got like games that are like, okay, like this might, as you would say in the NBA, this is a good league pass game to watch. Like uh, Arizona and Cincinnati. It's like, oh, that's not a bad Sunday ticket game to just throw on. Maybe you just see a laser light show from both quarterbacks. Like that could be a fun one.
Yeah, my guess, just, like, not even looking at the schedule, is my guess, if everything plays out as well as possible, is that we'll have 4 games of meaning next week, which is crazy because, like, as of right
Yeah.
now, we only have 1 division wrapped up, but it seems like what, it would be the NFC West next week, that'll be so maybe more, maybe we'll have, like, 6 games.
It was really weird. It was really weird because like 2 weeks ago, it felt like we had no clarity at all, and then now it just feels like we have everything but seating because
It'll
like
a
all
lot of it
teams
will
are.
a lot of it will depend on tomorrow. We could have it to where it's
Mm,
wrapped up tomorrow, but we also could have it to where there's still less clarity, and then
so
we do have
like
to
the hope for football fans is that the Steelers somehow lose and the Ravens win, so that game matters.
Uh-huh,
That the Chargers win, so
uh-huh,
that game matters a ton. And then we hope that the
which would need
Seahawks and hope Seahawks and 49ers is going to matter regardless. Panthers and Bucks is going to matter regardless
if the
unless the
Chargers win,
Bucks
that puts the
lose.
Texans in a must-win for next week too, is that correct?
No, because
Okay,
now the Colts are out officially,
okay.
so it doesn't matter. So the Texans, the only thing that would be if the Texans win
So, really,
and
the
say
only
the
bubble team is technically the AFC North, really, right now.
yes, that and then AFC North and the NFC South are the two bubble teams right now. So for the divisions, because
Right.
those are the only ones, and then after that, but we've got a few games next week that could matter, but it all depends pretty much. A few division games, obviously, but yeah, could have been Bears Lions too, but Lions couldn't win. Could have because that could have been the Lions win, the Packers lose to the Vikings, and the Lions are in. But oh, whatever.
See you next year.
See you next year, fourth place team. When the Packers, I might let them. I was say honestly, the Lions just should lose the game. They really should just lose. I mean, they might lose anyway. Like if they played them straight up, I think the Bears like this year proving they're better, but just lose a game, it'll be fine. But all right, Warner Brothers Podcast. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all at Warner Brothers Podcast. This is the week, picks for the week. If you haven't seen part one, go see part one. We talked about the oh my gosh, I can't even speak right now. I can't even think. I guess the Christmas season just got me messed up. I almost said Thanksgiving slate of basketball games. What are we talking about? There's a Christmas slate of basketball. Talked a lot of basketball, future of Steph Curry, what Jokic could be. We went into a little legacy talk. We don't do that too much here, but when we do, we have serious good legacy talk. So go check that out if you haven't yet already. Warner Brothers Podcast. We'll see you very again.